Oh my gosh, here's your go-to meal for midweek or the beginning of the week or a perfect Sunday supper. I'm making chicken over rice, and it's technically not over the rice, it's in the rice because I figured it's just easier for me to do it this way. So here I am laying out all the jasmine rice on the bottom. I make enough for at least 2 days, even though my husband said, who was I cooking for when I made this huge pan? But I don't know how to make small meals. So I'm spreading all the jasmine rice out. And here I am, I'm using the cream of chicken soup. I use the family size can, and then I use a cream of mushroom soup as well. And then I fill both of the cans up with water. I decided to spare you the banging and clanging on the side of the pan and do a voiceover. And so after you get all of this out of the cans, again, it's going to take like several times to spray water inside the cans to get the extra out. But all I did was use this can to fill it up. And basically you want your want your rice covered up. So here I am trying to scrape off all the ooey gooey goodness and getting it on my hands. That did not feel good. Again, just scraping it all out and putting the rest of it down in there. I guess I could have done this in a less messy way, not sure how. But here I am. You want to stir everything up. You want to get all of the rice covered and coated with your cream of chicken soup and your cream of mushroom soup. You can do this with cream of celery. You can use any cream soup that you want. I just happen to use chicken and mushroom. So here I am making sure all the rice is smoothly spread out. I do add more water, and I also season this because sometimes, even though the Campbell soup tends to be a little saltier, it doesn't always have enough seasoning once it soaks into the rice. And I want to make sure that the rice stays moist and that as I'm cooking it, that it doesn't get dried out. You'll see at the end where some of the moisture was still along the edges, and then you stir it all up and it's all perfect. So I'm adding more water to the recipe so that we can have perfectly moist rice. Now, I also realized that this recipe goes faster when I cook the chicken and then add it instead of putting the chicken in it and having to low cook it and slow cook it. My children were ready to eat, and my husband was too. So here I am. I just put some olive oil in the pan. I'm going to be cutting the chicken up in chunks. You can buy tenders and do this. You can use chunks of chicken. You can use chicken breast. You can use bone-in chicken. It doesn't matter, whatever you and your family want. I just happen to have chicken breast on hand. So I'm getting all the little ugly pieces off of it. I'm cutting it up into chunks, and then I'm just sauteing it to get it tender. And then so you'll see me do this in a minute or two. Once I put everything in there in the chunks, I let it get sauteed. I do that for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I add water so it can also steam and get all juicy and tender. So when I go to put it in the rice and the rice gets done, the chicken is already tender as well. So we have no tough bits. Now, I do not cook according to recipes, so if that's your thing, please, I'm already going to disappoint you. I season to taste. I'm going to say that in every single cooking video that I share. I season it to how I like it, and then what I do is I make sure that, once you keep doing it, you'll find out what your tastes are, but I am showing you all the seasonings that I'm using. So I used garlic powder. That's the Italian seasoning blend. Tony Chachere's. I use the garlic salt. By Lawry's, I'm using some smoked paprika. I'm using the Lawry's seasoned salt. And so I season it to taste because, again, the chicken, even though it's going to be in the rice, you want it to have its own seasoning. So every time you take a bite of rice, take a bite of chicken, there's some seasoning. So it's going to be really, really yummy and delicious. So here I am just sauteing everything up. What is that? Oh, there's the garlic powder. And then I just use a spoon to saute it around and let it get caramelized on both sides. And then once I've done that for 10 to 15 minutes, that's when I go and add the water, and there's just a little dab of cinnamon because my son likes that. So if you put the water in too quickly, then your chicken's gonna be tough. Okay, so in here I think I used 4 chicken breasts, and then I set 1 chicken breast aside for the salad my husband and I were gonna have, and we're gonna have grilled chicken. But my husband ended up eating the majority of the grilled chicken I had set aside. So my salad I made for tomorrow has sandwich meat and cheese and all that jazz. Your water. I'm adding about 2 cups of water here, and I did this twice. I may not show that both times on camera, but I did it twice, and then once everything was tender like I wanted, and sorry for all the steam, I poured the steamed and ready to go chicken into the pan, I don't know what the roaster that has the rice and the cream of chicken and cream of mushroom soup, and I'm just stirring it really, really well for everything to just get married and have a really great relationship. After it all got stirred up, I added a little bit more seasoning on top because, again, if you don't put enough seasoning, the rice is going to soak it all up and the rice won't have enough flavoring to it because the starch will take over. So I smoothed everything out. I seasoned it. I didn't show it, but I added a dash of sugar. I know someone's going to be like, really? We're Southerners. I like a little dash of sugar in spaghetti, things I'm cooking, and this is no exception, right? So here I am smoothing it all over. I'm going to cover it in tin foil. It's very important that you do that because if not, your rice will get dried out. So cover it in tin foil. And then here, when you go to take the tin foil off, it is fabulous. My children told me this is probably the best one I've made. So I'm stirring everything up to see how along the edges, that's where all the cream of mushroom and cream of chicken soup has kind of settled. But look how creamy and delicious it is. I know the camera's fogging up, but I'm going to show it to you in a second when I go to plate it. Recipe 4 years, and my children told me that this was the best one I've made yet, and I agree. It looked the best and it tasted the best. I only tasted a little bit, but it was delicious. And so now we have enough for the next 2 days, and I don't have to worry about cooking again until Thursday. On my next video, God bless you guys.